How's it going today, everybody? This is Mick. I hope you're doing well. I'm back here to talk about 5 albums that you could listen to from start to finish. Well, not Caddyshack, but you get the point. Before I begin this, all of these albums are from my own personal collection. And when I say album, I mean album in the general term, not in the literal record album. So you'll be looking at CDs here. There will be no order of favorites or anything like that. And this is all subjective, uh, depending on what style of music you like. So this is just my personal stuff. Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet, 1986. This was released on Polygram Records. Man, this album starts out strong with the song Let It Rock, and it does not let up. It had a number of major radio hits, including Let It Rock, You Give Love a Bad Name, Wanted Dead or Alive, Never Say Goodbye. My personal favorite songs on this album are not the radio ones. Well, one of them is, I guess, Let It Rock, but that's one of their lesser radio ones. But my really favorite song on this album is Wild in the Streets, and that's the final song on the album. Here's the quick track listing, starting off with my favorite, Let It Rock, You Give Love a Bad Name, Living on a Prayer, Social Disease, Wanted Dead or Alive, Raise Your Hands, which is another good song as well, actually. Without Love, I Die for You, which is another good one. I like Bon Jovi, so, guilty. Um, Never Say Goodbye, and as I said, my favorite on this album, Wild in the Streets, finishes off this album. So, classic. If you guys have never heard it, check it out on your streaming thing or whatever. Otherwise, if you're into trying to find CDs, one worth checking out. So, this was an early CD release. I don't remember when they first started releasing CDs. It was early to mid 80s, I think, sometime. But this was an early one, and I want to show you what it says on the back of the um, album cover thing here. So this is, I guess, the record company or the CD compact disc company trying to make the case for CDs. I'm not going to read it all. You can zoom in on it, but it's pretty interesting. It's like they're telling people what a CD is and what it's going to sound like, and all of that stuff. So, of course, inside the CD book, it opens up a quad fold, I would say, and it has song lyrics for all of the songs, which is pretty cool. My next album that you could listen to from start to finish is Animals from Pink Floyd, 1977, Columbia Records. Only 5 songs in length, but all are epically long except for 2 of them. My favorite song on this album or CD is Dogs, and that comes in at 17 minutes and 3 seconds. Believe it or not, I found this at Half Price Books one day for $1. Crazy. Yeah, for a fucking dollar. In immaculate condition. Or perfect condition, mint condition. Use Your Illusion 1 from Guns N' Roses, 1991, put out by Geffen, is certainly an album that you could listen to from start to finish. Just my opinion. From start to finish, this is Guns N' Roses at their finest. And that's just my opinion as well. Radio hits for this album was Don't Cry, Live and Let Die, and November Rain. But my personal favorite songs were, I do love those songs, yes. My favorites from this album are as follows: You Ain't the First, Don't Damn Me, Dead Horse, which is a fucking phenomenal song. I know Dead Horse, not a pleasant name, but just an excellent tune. The Garden is one of my favorite songs on this album because that has Alice Cooper singing along with Axl Rose. So, you know, it's pretty good stuff. You know, I even like the song Garden of Eden. And I remember on MTV, man, that was the song that they had the words at the bottom of the screen because he sings it so fast, it's hard to understand what he says. You see what I mean? Just about a solid start to finish album. Starts with Right Next Door to Hell, ends with Coma. Everything in between, man, just in my opinion, is just a fucking excellent album, you know? You ain't gonna skip through this one too much. Song lyrics to every song throughout this booklet. Nice photo collage. Guns and fucking Roses. One of my favorite bands of all time. Next is an album from the band Wilco titled Being There. This was released in 1996 on Reprise Records and it was produced by Wilco. This is 2 discs, and in my opinion, Wilco is one of the finest bands to come from Chicago or the Chicago area. Just my opinion. This album pretty much has it all on it. It has upbeat, up tempo. It's got songs that'll make you think. It has songs that will make you sad. Just has about everything you could want, to be honest with you, in an album, including my all-time favorite song that Wilco ever made in their pretty elaborate library. I just love how this album folds open and the artwork they decided to go with. Nice pictures of the band in studio. Speaking of the band, just for people who may never have heard of Wilco before, you know, it's Jeff Tweedy on vocals. As far as my favorite songs on this album, I'd say Misunderstood is right up there. That's just an excellent song. There's a really good video for that one as well. If you search that one out on YouTube, I've seen. Far, Far Away is a really good song on this one. Someone Else's Song is a really good song as well. Hotel Arizona is a really cool song. My all-time favorite song from Wilco is Sunken Treasure, and that is on this album as well. Born to Run, 1975, Columbia Records. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. So for the use of this video, I'll be showing off the 30th anniversary box set, which is Born to Run Remastered, as well as the making of Born to Run, as well as a bonus 1975 live concert in England at the Hammersmith Odeon, which is one of the finest concerts they ever put on live, in my opinion. So, Born to Run from Bruce Springsteen, as I said, released in 1975. This is the 30th anniversary edition of it. And as you can see, straight away in the center is the actual album. The cool thing about the 30th anniversary edition is that they redesigned it to make it look like the actual fold open album cover, you know? To the left is the Hammersmith Odeon show, which is a classic, man. If you can find any footage of that, man, just the way they're dressed and the sound and everything, it's happening of the time. I don't know, I don't have a better word for it. To the right is a huge, thick booklet of just nice photos of the band and everything. This is one that I'm honored to have in my collection because I love the E Street Band. And as I said, start to finish, Born to Run. From the moment this album starts until the end note in Jungleland. I'm enthralled. I'm just like engaged in it. They tell such a good story. I think the band is good. This band may not be for everybody, but nothing ever is. This is my personal favorites, and I'm assuming everybody has their own personal favorites. But if you like this kind of music, I'm just trying to make the point that this is an album that you could listen to from the very start to the very end without really skipping around. The saxophone player, Clarence Clemens, unfortunately is no longer around, but he was one of the finest sax players in music history, and that's just my opinion. Radio songs on this were Thunder Road, of course, and Born to Run, both great songs, but my favorites on this are Backstreets and Jungleland. So, other than the fact that this album sounds phenomenal because they remastered it for this 30th anniversary, the CD itself looks really cool too because they made it look like the original album. It really even feels like the plastic and everything. It's got the grain and texture and all that stuff. So for those still with the video, you'll get a little bonus Hammersmith Odeon talk here. This was one of the coolest shows, like if you can find live footage of it, and sometimes it's hard on YouTube because they take it down and stuff like that. Cool show though. The dress is very indicative of the time, 1975, the way that they're dressed and just the style of it and everything, man. I love it. I love it. They were over in London, England. My favorite song of this night at this show that they did was Lost in the Flood. And that was probably my all-time favorite version of that song that they did. I like that even more so than the actual album version that they put on Greetings from Asbury Park. So pretty strong set for this show they gave the people over in London with Thunder Road, 10th Avenue Freeze Out, Spirit in the Night, Lost in the Flood, my personal favorite on this album. She's the One, Born to Run, the E Street Shuffle, It's Hard to Be a Saint in the City, Backstreets, Kitty's Back, Jungleland, Rosalita, Come Out Tonight, 4th of July, Asbury Park, Sandy, Detroit Medley, For You, and Quarter to Three. So I would also say on this particular show, Spirit in the Night was a more than stellar performance. So if you're into Bruce, you never seen it, check that one out. This Hammersmith Odeon show in and of itself could be an album you could listen to from start to finish. Just to be honest, if you like Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. But it's all the time I have. Thanks for watching and have a good day. See you next time.